So I just ended up. So after just reviewing this okay movie, I said, all right, I need to cleanse my palate with something better. The House of Clocks is indeed a better movie overall with the presentation, the story, and everything else. And I can definitely say I got enjoyment from this one, and it actually provides this surreal, dreamlike environment inside this mansion. Now you're wondering, what is the House of Clocks about? From Europe's Grand Master of Gore, Lucio Fulci, comes one of his rarely seen genre efforts, House of Clocks. Lucio Fulci is recognized the world over as the Sultan of Splatter and creator of Zombie, The Beyond, and Demonian, countless other Euro horror classics. A gang of ruthless thugs intent on robbery prey upon a seemingly harmless elderly couple, Vittoro and Sarah. The simple plan turns into a terrifying nightmare as Vittoro's antique clock collection mysteriously turns back time. Now the hunters become the hunted, and the old couple becomes a vengeful, malevolent force. A stylish shocker, starring Paolo Paolini from Cannibal Holocaust and Voices from Beyond, Bettina Milne, Tea with Mussolini, and Fulci Stewart, L. Cliver, Zombie, The Beyond Dementia. This one I like. This is definitely the suspense, the build-up, and the execution. It's like, okay, so let's get this elderly couple who seems like, that they're harmless. It's like, they just live in a house, they're living with their maid, but then we instantly know that something's wrong when the matriarch who is looking after his cat pretty much just commits birdicide and feeds it to his cat. I'm like, what the fudge? And we also see that they eliminated their niece and nephew because they said, we brought you in, we treated you like children, we gave you everything you wanted, but you didn't reciprocate the love. So we had to pretty much just make you go the way of the dodo bird, and it's in graphic detail. I'm like, yes, we're getting some blood, which is a good thing, I wanted to see some blood. I got some blood. I got to see some dismembered bodies, and I'm like, good. I like this. I want this. And this one has its way. It's like, when all these ruthless thugs, when these three people come in, what was it? They are called the and that, it's like a ruthless thug. It's like two boys, like two men, one woman. Come in. It's like, all right. So what exactly are we going to get? They just want to rob the place. They don't want to. They're still pretty scummy. Putting a cat inside a bag and literally making a joke about letting the cat out of the bag, and it's just. Oof. When they come in and pretty much just are about just like want to rob the place, but things go south when when the muscle and also the both of them are killed. It's like, okay, what's going on here? Suddenly the clocks reverse, and it's like, well, I'll be danged. What's going to happen here? Slowly it starts to go back. For you, the viewer watching, for us, it's like counterclockwise. It's like loosening a screw, and slowly it happens. Seeing it just go in reverse, it's like, okay, what's going to happen here? All throughout here, the pacing it's enough to keep you in suspense, but you don't get bored. Because, like I said, you got the blood. There's some blood on when the cruel woman gets shot, who, by the way, pretty much offs the maid for whatever reason. She said, that's the third maid we've had this year. And, blood is splattered, but, when it gets reversed, it's like, okay, they notice that some of the blood spots have been removed. Like, where did the body of the muscle guy go? And they're wondering, they're scared, and you're kind of like, okay, now we're getting some interesting stuff going on. So, it's the mystery, and the scares, and the build-ups. That's what this movie is really gosh darn good at. It's the build-up and keeping you wondering. Let me explain. It's like when we get in about roughly 40 minutes, it's like we get the scenes, and we get the intense struggles. But when they're wandering around the house, it's also the atmosphere. It's like when they're down inside the basement, it's all purple, and there's just fog machines everywhere, creating just like that. They're feeling like that they're lost and wondering what's going on, and you don't really feel for them since they are scummy of the highest order, but just I guess you can at least understand a little bit of what they're going through, and I'm like, yeah, this would definitely be weird and just outright tense just to see. And of course, it's like when the chick's looking at her watch saying it's 3 a.m., it's as bright as day outside, and yeah, it's like the time. It's like that, just almost as it's saying like the property itself is unsettling. I mean, even when they're wandering around the upstairs, you could tell just by how whatever whatever like format that it was in. It was definitely aspect ratio. That's the word. I'm not sure what the aspect ratio is here. It's enough to where it's wide and open to at once feel claustrophobic, but at the same time a new style of just things going on, just like like it's claustrophobic, and scary, but also open at the same time because you don't know what's going to go on. Yeah, new uncut anamorphic widescreen transfer, liner notes, talent bios, etc. So it's like this movie. It's pretty gosh darn good. I got enjoyment from this overall, and you would bet like I mean that it goes. It's like the clocks are just like just like wheels that just keep on turning, and it's like you just look at it and you're like, this is good. This is some good stuff. But then again, it's not for everyone because it is deliberately slow paced to keep the tension and atmosphere going on, and it's like okay, because you're waiting for something to happen, and you're just thinking okay, because with all these Italian movies, it is about the atmospheres. It's about the wonderings what are going on, and ultimately the conclusion of thinking like, oh, it's pretty much just going to be like it's going to pay off by itself. But in the end, when they do realize, it's like, oh crud, they go down in the embankment, and it's like, yeah, this is not a nightmare. This is real gosh darn life. So yeah, ultimately, with a constant, slow to somewhat medium pace, it keeps you interested enough to where you're not really bored, but it's just you gotta be in the right mood for this, especially with all the clocks. They're just like, it's a little intense, but in a good way. So originally Mario Bava was going to have some part in it, but ultimately, just due to complications with another movie, I don't know which one he was creating at the time, Fulci just came in and said, all right, this is going to be a made-for-TV horror movie. And you can tell it is. I mean, the budget is small. It just takes place in a house and, like, a convenience store and around the perimeter. And it's like, well, it's not the highest. And this is part of, a quadrilogy of one in a series of 4 of a doomed house, or House of Doom or something like that, where all the bad people meet their fate. Kind of like how Argento has his Animal trilogy or whatever. So it's like, that's pretty much what it is. You can tell, obviously, it's low budget, but this movie is, I guess, in a way, fun just to see the old couple extract their revenge, and the nephew and niece arise and get their revenge as well. So it's, yeah, the House of Clocks is, with its surreal, dreamlike atmosphere and the billings that go on, and just the overall slow, tense ride. You know, it's not for everyone, but I do recommend. I do recommend it as like this. I do recommend it only because I consider this what most people call past 1982, 1984. This is like his last great movie. So yeah, House of Clocks recommended.